Alright guys, today is going to be a busy day in the Championship. It is transfer deadline day, and you might be wondering why I'm coming at you on a Monday with the Week 31 score predictions. Well, that's because we've got 3 games in the Championship coming up in midweek. As we're heading into an FA Cup weekend, we've actually only got 5 Championship fixtures taking place over the weekend, so I thought it would be worth incorporating all of these matches into one prediction video. Obviously, we've still got Middlesbrough against Sunderland to come tonight as well. We previously predicted that in the Week 30 video, if you want to go ahead and check that out. Lots going on in the Championship right now though. Leave your thoughts on deadline day and all of these upcoming matches. Without any further ado, let's hop into the games. So to kick things off, we're going to Turf Moor for Burnley up against Oxford. This game coming up on Tuesday night, and off the bat, this one absolutely reeks of a goalless draw, doesn't it? It's Scott Parker going up against Gary Rowett. Burnley, who have already had 10 goalless draws so far this season. Over half of their home matches have ended as draws. Oxford still on a really good unbeaten run. They couldn't find a way to get past 9-men Bristol City over the weekend, but still on a really good unbeaten run. They've not lost in the Championship since Boxing Day. They won't make it easy for Burnley, and it's the sort of match where I feel like high quality chances at either end of the pitch, maybe at a premium in this one. Oxford been fairly draw heavy on the road recently. I mean, these are the sorts of matches that Burnley are going to need to be winning if they want to finish in the top 2 this season, but I can't help but feel like I may be sitting on the fence here for another goalless draw. 0-0, I'm saying, between those two to kick off this video. After that, we go to Loftus Road for QPR up against Blackburn. This game also taking place on Tuesday night, so make sure to get your score predictions in the comments down below fairly swiftly for this one. Now, QPR coming off the back of back-to-back losses. It was a 2-1 loss away at Millwall last time. They really were knocking on the door late on for an equaliser in that game. The second half substitutes seemed to have a positive impact. They just couldn't quite find that equaliser. But this one won't be easy. Blackburn, who obviously got back to winning ways against my side North End on Friday night. From a Blackburn perspective, it certainly wasn't their best performance of the season so far. Quite a bit of penalty drama involved in that game as well, but on reflection of the whole 90 minutes, Blackburn were the better team. They were the team with a bit more attacking impetus about them and just had that bit more quality in the final third as well. John Eustace, I think, will look to make this game pretty tight. Score prediction for me, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think QPR need to stop the losing run and may settle for a point in that one. I am absolutely buzzing for this one on Wednesday night. It's Coventry going up against Leeds. 2 sides in really good form right now, and I'm expecting a good game of football. Coventry have now won their last 4 in a row. They've kept 3 clean sheets in that time as well. Frank Lampard has got them creating a lot of chances right now, and gradually they've been rising up the ranks in the Championship and are getting themselves back to within playoff contention. Now, this will be one of their toughest matches of the season so far. Leeds coming off the back of one of the most dominant displays we have seen in the Championship this season, really putting Cardiff to the sword and showing no mercy in that game, beating them 7-0. A bunch of chances created, and to be honest with you, the only way I don't see Leeds finishing in the top 2 now is if they have just too many hiccups on the road between now and the end of the season, because at home I really struggle to see Leeds dropping many points between now and the end of the season. I think there is that sense of inevitability about Leeds when they're playing at Ellen Road. I think most teams fear going to that ground, whereas on the road maybe there is still a little bit of a sense of vulnerability, albeit Leeds are still unbeaten in their last 12 games, and that's home and away matches. But in saying that, Leeds have dropped points in 4 of their last 6 away games. Also worth taking into consideration as well, Leeds haven't actually won at Coventry since 2010, albeit these 2 sides haven't played that much of each other in recent times. The fact that it's Frank Lampard against Leeds, and there will be that bit of needle because of that, it'll be a really good atmosphere in the home and away end for this one. I'm probably going to be left with egg on my face after this, but gut feeling, I'm going 2-1 Coventry in that game, which may keep things interesting at the top of the table. After that, we go to the first of the Saturday matches. We're heading to the Stadium of Light for Sunderland up against Watford. Now, obviously, I am recording this prediction before Sunderland have played Middlesbrough, so if you want to hold back on making a prediction for this game before that game has happened, then feel free to do so. To be honest, these are the sorts of matches that Sunderland will need to be winning if they want to put that pressure on the sides above them, obviously, We were saying similar things in that home game they had recently against Plymouth, which they couldn't take advantage of. But going up against a Watford side who have lost 7 of their last 10 matches, away form hasn't been brilliant from the Hornets this season. They have been averaging less than a point per game on the road this far into the campaign. It's the sort of match where you think Sunderland need to be taking advantage of. Score prediction for me in that one, I'm going to go 2-0 Sunderland. After that, we're off to the Hawthorns for West Brom up against Sheffield Wednesday. West Brom losing 2-1 away at Plymouth last time out really makes the race for the top 6 open, particularly if Sheffield Wednesday win this game. They'll actually leapfrog West Brom in the league table. For Wednesday last time out, they could only draw against Luton, went a goal down in the first half, got back into it in the second half, and were really pushing for that winner. It just didn't quite fall for them in the end. This one does feel quite tight, to be honest with you. West Brom, for all their faults recently, they've not been winning many matches consecutively. They don't tend to lose many at home. They're unbeaten in their last 10 matches at the Hawthorns, but Wednesday have been decent value for money recently. Sort of game I could see going 1 goal either way, but I'm going to sit on the fence for it, go for a 1-1 draw between these two. After that, we go to Carrow Road for Norwich up against Derby. It feels like most people will probably be favouring towards a home victory in this one. Derby coming off the back of 7 consecutive defeats now after that 1-0 loss against Sheffield United. The real frustration with Derby at the moment is in those 7 games consecutively that they've lost, they've all lost by like the odd goal or something like that. It's not as if they've been getting battered recently, but they've just got nothing really going for them in the final third right now. And going into a game like this away at Norwich, where they can make that pitch really big at Carrow Road, if Norwich score early, especially in this game, it does feel like it could be a little bit of a bloodbath, despite Derby tending to keep things fairly tight. Norwich are coming off the back of a good win away last time out at Watford. Listen, the Championship can always provide us with upsets, but this one does feel like a bit of a home banker right now. Score prediction, I'm going to go 3-0 Norwich in that game. After that, we go to Bramall Lane for Sheffield United up against Portsmouth. Now, it was a good point for Portsmouth last time out, 0-0 against Burnley. I'm sure Pompey fans would take the same against Sheff United in this game. As things stand, Portsmouth are projected to pick up 46 points this season, which on the trajectory of every other Championship club would be enough to keep them up, but it does feel like they are quite reliant on maintaining that good home form between now and the end of the season, because away form, that's where they've run into most of their problems this season. John Mousinho's side have lost their last 6 games on the road. They've not won any of their last 10 away matches, and going away to Bramall Lane, albeit Sheff United did lose 3-0 against fellow strugglers Hull last time they were at home, it feels like they'll be the overwhelming favourites for this game. Good way for the Blades to bounce back last time out, beating Derby 1-0. The Blades haven't really been the biggest scorers so far this season. They've only scored more than 2 goals in a game on one occasion. That came against Oxford in November. So I'm not sure I can see this one being a massive scoreline, as a few of the Pompey away matches have been this season. But I do think I'm going to go for a Sheff United win. Score prediction in that one, I'm going to go 2-0 Sheffield United. And then to round off this prediction video, coming up on Sunday, we've got Bristol City against Swansea. I think it's fair to say Bristol City are the favourites coming into this fixture. Now, Liam Manning's side could only manage a point against Oxford over the weekend, albeit they were down to 10 men by the end of that game. Bristol City fans, let me know your verdict on that one in the comments down below. I'm sure that referee wasn't the most popular man in Bristol by the end of that game, but regardless, coming away from Oxford, especially in those circumstances with a point, isn't a bad result whatsoever. And now back at home, where Bristol City have tended to be quite strong recently, they've not lost any of their last 6 games at Ashton Gate, 4 consecutive home wins for them, going up against the Swansea side who seem desperately low on confidence right now. They've lost their last 4 in a row and have conceded 12 goals in that time. Another loss for them last time out against Coventry. Score prediction for me in this one, it's tough to see past a Bristol City win, isn't it? Score prediction, I'm going to go 2-1 Bristol City in that game, and for the misery to continue for Swansea, who would really be dragged in towards this relegation scrap if they do lose that game. But guys, there you have it. That will now wrap it up for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Not the usual way that we do these prediction videos, but with, like I say, matches coming up in midweek and the weekend, I thought it made sense to squeeze all of these into one video. We've also got a bunch of FA Cup action coming up over the weekend as well, with that involving plenty of Championship sides. Feel free to leave your score predictions for those games in the comments down below as well. We've got a few juicy ones involving Championship clubs, haven't we? But other than that, that will wrap it up for today's video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.